Hey there, hi. It's Bruce from Your Unbreakable Spirit, and today we're going to talk about the topic of change. What a great time to talk about change. It's springtime here in New York. Everything's budding, the leaves are coming out, the flowers are full, the air has changed. It's a good time. I'm going to share with you some information, or better yet, some knowledge that I assimilated from listening to an audio tape by a business leader who creates a massive wealth by leading others to live into their potentials. In order to do that, in order to live into your full potential, almost everybody must have a breakthrough that shifts them from living the way life was to the way they want their life to be lived. They make a change where they stop being one way in the world and they show up and they be in a different way. This is what separates our heroes from victims. The hero steps up and steps into the role that the world has offered them. They step into their power. They speak their vision. They master the ability to leave behind what once was in order to be fully with what is. And what is a world that is constantly changing. A world that is open to possibilities and redefines existence. So what is this ability that one must master in order to create massive change in their lives? It's not something you go study. It is not something that you can go to college and learn. It is not something that if you do X plus Y, it equals Z, and I'll have the results that I want. It is that you make a decision. You make a decision to change the way you live and see the world. You make a decision that says, and I'm going to paraphrase what this inspirational leader said in the audio tape, enough is enough. I'm tired of this. I'm going to change this. The way things have been in the past, I don't want them to be like that anymore. I'm going to change this now, and I'm going to change it right now. I'm done with the old way. I can do this. I am worthy of this. I do not need anybody else to tell me that I can do it. I know I can do it because I know me, and I know I'm powerful, and I love myself, and I can do this. And at that moment, the moment you make the decision, the moment you really mean, everything changes. I know this from personal experience. And I know this because I've helped other people do this, to make radical changes in the way that they live and the way that they be in the world. To free up their energies that exist in locked patterns, in their bodies and in their breath and in their feelings and in their images and their reactions. And they live a life that is unveiled, that is not a reflection of their being, but is an expression of their being. Another thing this guy said that reflected a truth in me from my own experiences and of my own change, and one that I've witnessed in others as they have transformed their lives, is that you look in their eyes, and when someone realizes what once was is no longer what they believe, there is a light that comes out of their eyes. If you look carefully, you could see the light of consciousness coming out of people's eyes. Is it clouded or is it clear? If you watch them carefully, at that moment, you could see one aha after another moving through their body. And if you're fortunate enough to witness such an event, give them space. Let them have time to take it in. Reflect back to them what has happened so that they can anchor this experience. Because when they are witnessed, and when people are witnessed, we show up in a different way. And if we begin to shut back down and go back into an old pattern, reflect back to them, give them support, reinforce their decision to change, encourage them to take a break and not to try to figure everything out, to breathe and let the new you emerge. See, life is a series of expansions and contractions, but once you make a deep change, you'll never go back. I had a powerful change experience, one that I struggled with for years, around a certain identity, one that was stopping me from truly sharing the talents that I had and that lived in me. I was attending a 4-year healing school, intensive, where the intent was to leave no stone unturned in our understandings of our limiting beliefs. And in my 4th year, I presented this struggle in a case presentation. It's sort of like when you're in college and you present a thesis. You go up to the leaders of the school and you tell them what the work is, what it's all about, and how it's affected you and how it will affect the world. I did this deep personal work in front of an audience, and the task presented in this session was to break through even further than I had ever broken through before, to go through the eye of the needle, all the way through, not just on the edge, but all the way through. It was a final test to see if I was qualified to be a healer. The person leading the case presentation, which was about an hour long, cornered me in the room and began to push me. I told him to stop. He kept pushing me. I said stop. He didn't stop. Perhaps he was just a reflection of myself. Well, I got more and more upset until finally he pushed me, and I looked him clearly in the eyes, and I said, stop it. And he did. And in a moment, a wave of energy washed through me and cleansed me. I was speechless. But once I gathered myself, I asked him, why did you stop? And he told me, because I thought you meant it. Well, I did. I reclaimed a piece of me that I had long left behind, a piece of me that had been shrouded by misconceptions and beliefs and false images, and that responded to life with actions that were supporting those old images and believed them and lived as if they were true. This reshaped my life with a sense of authority, to stepping up and stepping in to my vitality, my power, and stepping into my purpose. And at that moment I stepped up. I said, enough is enough. That is it. I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not going to make this happen anymore like this. I made a decision to change. And that decision was that I was going to show up differently in my life. And I did. Another thing I learned from this guy, this new teacher, this someone who's been down a similar path, yet a different path than me, was his reflections around this change. Now, I've kind of studied this, and I've studied the chakras and the auras and philosophy and psychology. He was much easier to get, much simpler. He said this, at that moment, at that very second, not only did I change, but there was magic. Now, I don't know what happened, and maybe it was a faith thing, and maybe faith affects the world's results, or maybe it's a scientific thing, and maybe it affected the subatomic particles and how they move around. I don't know how it works. All I know is that the second I changed and showed up in the world, all of a sudden, and in this case, my prosperity changed. You know, you can give two different people the same system, and they can do the same action steps necessary in order to make it work, but they can have very different results. And the only reason we can really come to understanding this is that they have different beliefs. One may be all in and believe that whatever they want will happen, and the other might be halfway in with their lives, and seeing if they get results before they fully immerse themselves. Well, that's enough about me. Now, what about you? Take a moment, if you wish, to reflect. And please don't answer this too quickly. Is there something in your life that you would like to change? Something that you want to change right now? Now, if you're on the surface, you want change, but don't really mean it. You're sitting on the fence watching the game being played, and you're satisfied with wanting. I'm satisfied with wanting to have change, of dreaming about change that's out there, but maybe it really can't happen to me, but I know that I want it. But there's enough complacency in your life that you haven't quite moved off that fence. So you may need to dig a little deeper, or you might need to dig a lot deeper, and who cares whether it's a little deeper or a lot deeper? Deeper is deeper, and it's all relative. Ultimately, the only way you can make the decision for change is to touch the one that resides in you. It's hard to do this on your own, without a group around you or somebody to support you, to give you clear reflection. But no one can make you do it. They can only feed you in positive energy. And if you hang out around them, you'll feel the positive energy. Because remember, no one really knows how it happens. There's a type of magic that happens when someone decides that it's time. So if you hang around people who have experienced that, it makes it a lot easier and faster for you to assimilate, if you do indeed decide to make a change. And make sure you're in a group or situations where no one is judging you, whether you do or you don't, for the very reason that they have also been there. They know what it takes. They live the transformation. You can feel it in their presence. What I do as an energy healer is reflect back to the person in front of me, the places where their energy is not moving, and then hold that reflection so that it can be fully experienced in a way that has never been experienced before. Once we bring our focus to this place, once we bring the light of awareness to this frozen place in time, the energy magically begins to move. The shadows that veils the truth of our being, that hides the light of our essence, fades away, and the flow of our being emerges. Sometimes the results are dramatic. Sometimes they are sweet little waves that gently change the course of the world. We never know what it's going to look like. That's part of living with change. If you need help with this is one of the things that I do. I help people get their energy moving. You can email me for a consultation and we can see if this is right for you. If you want to listen to the audio tape I referenced earlier, which has helped me and inspired me immensely, it's not mine to give away. But you can access it by joining a group which I am affiliated with and a business in which I am part of, where I give group support with weekly meetings to make changes in your life and in your business. You can find out more about that aspect of creating changes in your life by going to the website in the box below. I leave you with one last word. If you want change, if you want things to be different, if you have dreams that you want to dream into, I know you can do it, because I know that your spirit is beautiful and unbreakable. And so I leave you in parting with Namaste, which means that the light in me I see reflected back in you. Here we exist in light, one and the same. Namaste.